So after everything I went through last week, I think I'm gonna apply for a new job.
So, interesting fact is a blowjob is the only job in the world that cannot be included in your resume despite your years of experience and number of references.
Special skills.
Special skills.
I cannot with them.
Happy Pride. Welcome to the Shed Show.
GayTalk 2.0.
It's been a rough ride.
Podcast for your dose of dish.
Good evening, ladies and gents. It is a Monday, and apparently
Monday.
my computer, the iPad, the software we use to stream live, everything probably felt that it was a Monday, and it was like, no, ma'am, we're not doing this. We forgot to mention last week that we would go back to our Monday schedule of recordings for the summer, and then in the fall we'll go back to Wednesdays. So today's officially the first Monday that we're going to be recording.
Well, we may not go back to Wednesdays depending on how the board schedule works out.
Okay, well, we'll play it by ear,
Yeah.
and we'll figure it out, but Mondays for now.
Play it by the seat of your pants.
And
Yeah.
welcome back to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast, streaming live when we get it going for our YouTube and Patreon supporters on the day of recording on Mondays. My name is Tom. I'm your host, and as always, I'm in the studio with my amazing co-host, starting with the first one.
Hey, y'all, Nick or Trish.
And
J Bear, aka your boyfriend's boyfriend.
welcome you all to our show. Thank you for joining us. And our apologies, literally 20-something minutes late.
27.
27 to be exact. You got your lighting, we've got the stream going, everyone's here. I'm disheveled.
Yeah, you need to pull it together.
Yeah, I know.
Today is the Mondayest. What is it? The Mondayest Monday
Of all.
of all.
There's
Most
a meme.
Mondays of Mondays.
Yeah.
There is a meme that goes around, and every so often I use it. I use it because, Mike, I keep hearing this. Shh. Anywho, it's Monday.
Monday.
But they. Hello. Yeah, there we are. There is this meme that goes around, and there's a polar bear, literally, and it's face down, belly on the ground, ass up, and it's just dragging himself through the snow.
Oh, that's me like this whole weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So anyway, enough about me, enough about this. We got the show going. How are you, Trish?
Good.
Did you survive Gala?
I did. I still have a bit of Gala brain, as we learned today when I went to the theater to pick up some plants. I picked up your plant.
You did. He bought me a
Yeah,
gardenia.
I've heard.
And I'm excited.
I also grabbed myself one of the orchids that was left over. But I left it on the top of my car and then backed out and destroyed it. So still a bit of Gala brain. I could barely move on Saturday.
So there's an orchid somewhere on I-95. If you find it, you can thank Trish.
She was pretty too, but no, it was really good. I mean, it's a lot leading up to Gala. Gala was on Friday, but it was a great night. Rave reviews. I exceeded goal by more than $20,000. I looked great.
That's wonderful. You did. So So as I'm trying to get ready, he texted a picture of his before and after, right? Like
Isn't that
last year to
amazing?
this year. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So that was like
Gala to Gala,
two
no?
years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you looked fierce, and I love that for
I'm
you.
gonna send it to you again.
Yeah, but no, we can't do this.
We can do
Can
this.
you just like put it on my camera then?
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
See if I can.
Give it to me.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, why you? Oh, she's all over the place.
Let's see. Can we do this?
There you go.
What a fucking difference. Talk about a weight loss journey. But also talk about that fucking tux. Yes, queen.
I love
killed
the
it.
gold bow tie. I really like it.
I did not
No.
really
Tom
like
is the
it.
only person that didn't like it.
So she's all up in
think
her
it's
feelings about it.
cute.
We were talking outside, and I said, "You know what? Your outfit was cute. I was just not feeling the gold bow tie."
So
I like bow ties. I think
I'm
they
being
stand
honest.
out, but no, hey,
yeah, well,
And so
everybody has their
so
preference.
she goes, well, you're the only one, and you're a hater because everybody said they're loving it. And I literally looked at him and I said, they're probably all lying to you.
No, literally they were not. But it was like the theme, like this whole year, 110th. Like there was a lot of gold this year. It matched our flowers, but I looked very.
No, you did. You
Those
did.
were my graduation colors, black and gold.
You looked
from high school.
very dapper.
Yeah.
I feel like you probably still have that suit somewhere.
But honestly, I walked that day alone. I stood for 14 hours, and I walked over 7 miles. The next day, I was limping out of my bed.
Oh, I'm sure. It's a lot. I mean, those events, especially when you're not so much participating, but when you're hosting and you're kind of in charge, it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
So, there's always running around, making sure this is right, making sure everybody checks in, and people looking
my
for you.
God.
And by the way, this flower just fell over. Come look at it.
So 15 minutes before the event started, one of the guys in operations, I had everything set up. I had the video going, the music going when I went downstairs to get ready, and he turned it off. Because
music?
Because I went, the event didn't start until 6, and I went downstairs around 5. And I come back upstairs like 15 minutes before everything was supposed to start. No music, no video, and people are in the room. And I was like, I'm going to kill somebody. Someone is going to die. And like, I was like, get the fuck up here right now. Like, that was my one moment. One
You had
moment.
your diva moment.
Yeah, I honestly, so our friend Steve, who we all know, came because he always donates the food for the staff. And he came to the theater and he walked in, and my coworker Katie was there, and he was like, "Hi, Katie, how's Nick?"
Stop puffing. That's what I'm hearing in the recording.
Me?
Oh.
Yeah.
That.
Oh.
Because you're puffing, it kicks in. That's what
I'm not puffing. Look.
All right, well, that story fell
Puff
flat.
free. Yeah,
So-
no, go ahead.
Well,
I'm
no,
sorry.
anyway.
He's having issues. His filter keeps kicking on.
For the first time in forever. No, so he walked in. He was like, "Hi, Katie, how's Nick?" And she was like, "He's actually doing okay today."
He's alive.
And then 15 minutes before the event, I was like, where the fuck is operation? What the fuck? Because, like, I know how to turn everything on, but the closet was locked, and I was like, what the fuck?
Where's the keys?
Why
I'm
would
like-
they lock it?
Because there's a lot of expensive
Oh,
equipment. in
no. Damn.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Stupid
It makes
question,
sense.
but yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And how are you, darling? Jay Bird. Jay Bird, you had a very, very eventful week. I don't think we want to get graphic.
No.
But it was a hard weekend, and I don't want
yeah.
to minimize your experience, nor I want to give you a space for you to talk about how you're feeling after this past week.
This BS that happened.
Yeah, the past 5 days.
Yeah. So without getting too crazy, I mean, basically, I had to put 2 of my dogs down.
Right.
It just got it was nuts. It was one was 13, the older one. The other one was younger. But yeah, it was just having to put a family member down is basically
Right.
what you're looking at.
So this was the Shih Tzu and your bullshit.
Yeah, my Shih Tzu and my bullshits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So father and son.
Wow.
Yeah, it was eventful. It was unfortunate. Things happen, unfortunately, and sometimes you have to make those hard decisions that
Right.
even though they feel wrong, it's the right thing.
Right.
It's just we're still kind of processing the. I found myself the past few nights. I was used to getting up at certain times and letting the dog out, and I still find myself walking to the door and opening it up, which is like, you kind of have to kind of process those feelings, and just kind of come to terms with stuff. It's not an easy process.
I feel you. You know, I have 2 dogs of my own.
Yeah.
Well, there's 4 dogs in my house right now. I am currently babysitting 2 beautiful Shiba Inus, Keiko
They're cute.
and Luna. And, you know, surprisingly, they've been quiet.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is cute. You know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my dogs know the deal.
They already know the process.
If we're in this room, they're quiet until we
say goodbye.
right, and then you know that starts.
Someone always has to bark.
Chime in, right? But no, they've been quiet.
He's like our bootleg lion of what is it? Warner Brothers at the end of instead of a roar, we got a bark.
Sorry, I was paying attention.
Clearly,
Yeah, get off of Pornhub.
I wasn't on Pornhub. I was on Sniffies.
Oh,
on
course.
Sniffies. Anything good in the neighborhood?
No, you've taken them all. Used and abused.
So you know, yeah. For me,
it's a process. It's a process.
I feel you. I don't know what's gonna happen. You know,
Yeah,
I keep saying that. You know, my dogs are 9 and 10, and
yeah, it's
Well,
it sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, we kind of experienced it earlier, this
With
year
Raleigh.
with Raleigh,
right.
and
I've
she
already
was-
told my boss, when any of my dogs go, you better prepare the others because she's
yeah.
gonna be out for like 6
you
months
better prepare the other.
for
Yeah.
the others, yeah,
for a PTO because
PTO.
she's gonna be out.
yeah.
Those
it's-
dogs are going to outlive all of us.
yeah.
You're probably not
So,
lying.
so yeah, but yeah, it was a process. So
Right.
it's it is what it is. We're still kind of coming to terms with missing the dogs,
Right.
But
Well,
other than that,
my condolences to
Thank
you
you,
and your
thank
wife
you.
and your family,
Same.
thank you.
and thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, and you know what I found even funny. Remember last Wednesday we went out to eat and we ran into Dee and her fiance,
That's right.
and we were talking precisely about that
About your bullshits and the Shih Tzu.
the Shih Tzu, and not even 24 hours later, shit hit the fan.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So it's sometimes things are just meant to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it is what it is. It sucks. You miss
Do you
them.
have any other dogs in the house?
I have one. I have my old lady. My bulldog.
Don't talk about your wife like that.
Ellie.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ellie.
sorry.
My wife.
We're talking about
My
Ellie.
old lady. Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie's was Coda's
Coda's mom.
Coda's
Yeah,
mom.
Yeah. But she's up there in age. She's 13. So all she does is sleep. Bulldog. So, and she's up there in age.
She's like Papa.
Yeah. she's just slower than me. So she's up there in her age. For a bulldog, she's old.
Right.
Usually at 11, 12, you're saying goodbye. She's on 13 now.
Right.
So she's hanging in there.
Well, I mean,
You
she
know,
lives. She lives with you guys. She lives a good life.
So
That's crazy.
yeah, it's just weird because I expected to, be burying her before I did the other two.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is nuts, but it is what it is.
Well, I'm sorry, darling.
Yeah. I
sorry.
still have one of my pups hanging
So,
around.
You have
getting the pain.
someone that can sort of kind of give you
Yeah, some sort of comfort.
right.
Right. So
Well, it's not easy.
No.
Yeah, I will tell you that we're jumping right into that fucking pattern that we were in last year, where it would be sunny all fucking week and
Yeah.
rain every goddamn
Every
freaking
weekend.
Oh my
weekend.
God.
And so
nonstop.
for the past 2 days, it was super nice.
Yeah.
And Friday, Saturday, and I got in my yard and I did some stuff. I've been moving things around, and so that was how I spent my sunny days. And then now it's gonna be. Let me see. It's gonna be sunny.
It's going to rain all week.
Right.
It's gonna be sunny on Wednesday, sunny on Thursday, rain Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot.
Yeah.
Can we have a nice weekend so we can barbecue and do all that good stuff?
The universe is punishing us because of Trump.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I know.
Trump's fault.
Yeah, blame it on Trump.
Yep.
And anyway, while you were gone last week, by the way, we introduced our
Pee Wee.
co-host here, Pee Wee.
Mm-hmm.
Compliments of Mama Kim. She had sent us.
Thank
she
you,
had
Mama
two of
Kim.
them.
I don't understand why.
So Mama Kim and I were having a conversation about Pee Wee Herman, and
When? Was I in the thread?
No. So it was her and I, because she was we were talking about the documentary of Paul Rubens' documentary on HBO, and about his life, the whole situation, having to someone who was out of the closet had to jump back into the closet in order to be in show business, and then the whole thing with masturbating in a theater, and you got to watch the documentary. It's pretty amazing. I think I always found Pee Wee Herman to be someone that was very endearing, and and you always knew, like, that was one of the first people that was on TV that I was like, oh, he's got to be gay. Like, it's in your face, even in the character, and like, even though
he was being quirky and funny, you could still. I mean, the gaydar
right.
knows where the gaydar knows.
And you think about some of the material that was being put out back then, right? And you start thinking about some of the subtle choices of words that they would use in the programs and in the movies that he would make.
Yeah, I'd never watched anything with him.
You were too young.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was not too young. He was still around when I was.
There was a lot of stuff that he did in the 80s.
You never watched Pee Wee's Playhouse?
No.
Yeah.
See?
Do you even know what Pee Wee's Playhouse is?
I don't want to know what Pee Wee's Playhouse is.
So she was too young.
Yeah, she was too young. That's not to be offensive or to,
It was
shame
it was
you
a
in any
TV
way.
show.
No, I know what it is. I never watched it.
Yeah, and then there were all the movies like
Yeah.
Big Top Pee Wee and like
Yeah.
all these other ones. But anyway, so she had two of them. One of them
She got.
she shared with
Yeah.
us. And this one,
Well,
it's got a little
welcome-
cord on the back, and you pull it,
Welcome, Pee Wee.
and he's got a lot of like phrases
Phrases.
that he would say
Okay.
throughout the show, throughout like his lifetime. I know you are, but what am I? And then there's Dookie. Oh, of course you got to go bring Dookie.
Yeah. Don't leave Dookie out.
Okay.
There we go.
So
Yeah, it's Pride Month. They should both be out.
Yeah. So
That's true.
Dookie's our other mascot. Dookie was complimented. That looks kind of like now he looks like he's masturbating the unicorn. We don't need to
That looks
perpetuate
perfect.
stereotypes, Missy. I cannot. Oh. So
Dookie and Pee Wee.
sitting
God.
by a tree.
Here
Anyway,
we go.
so
What
for
do you
those
call
of
it?
you,
Bestiality? God. We've gone south here.
We definitely went
Quick.
left field. Yeah.
But anyway, Dookie, Bobby Edwards, who's the CEO of Squatty Potty, was on our show years ago.
Years
and
ago.
we connected with Linda Stay and a couple other people. He sent us Dookie, and Dookie is a unicorn. And our mascot, that was a gift from the people of Squatty Potty, and it has a rainbow butt plug that you can pull out from the bottom. It's hilarious. But that's how Dookie came along. So yeah, we've got a lot of mascots. We've got dual penguins up there.
Yeah.
Mama Kim made those handmade. She does a lot of things. So
And your coke cock. Your coke cock.
yeah, and my very
Your-
decorative cock is
What
up
are we
there.
talking about?
His rhinestone
No,
covered
I know
cock
exactly
up
what
there.
you're talking about.
It's a rooster.
And when he got it, they were like, you can put your cocaine in it. No.
You were here.
That's right. I was here too.
Oh my god. Anyway, so there's a lot of
That was
things
funny.
happening in the US right now. Why don't we start with the crazy and then we'll end up with the nice?
Yes.
LA demonstrations. Have you been seeing the craziness?
I
We
have
were
not
talking about it
been-
earlier.
I have not
but
been.
Yeah.
This past week, I've been
On-
off the grid.
U.S. soil. So,
Yeah.
obviously the ICE started doing mass deportations in the city of LA, specifically targeting certain areas like Home Depots and things like that, where people would go and wait to
Yeah.
get work. People started realizing what was going on, and all of a sudden it turned into this huge mass protest. People were coming out and trying to fight off ICE and push them away. And for the most part, they were successful.
Yeah.
But then, local authorities got involved, and then a war ensued between the governor of California and the current president of the United States. The governor was saying, we have this under control. We'll be able to do this. And then the president went and used a law that the last time we used it was in the 60s during the Civil Rights Movement to mobilize the National Guard and sent the National Guard to California.
Without the request of the governor.
And it turned into a shit show.
Yeah.
And he's been trying to, put this in.
Are people dying?
We've had injuries. There's been a lot of loss.
Are they getting rubber bullets?
Property. So a lot of police cars, a lot of burning.
A lot of the e-cars.
Right. So it ended up getting violent.
Those
right?
The vehicles that they use for
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
What do you call them?
Google Maps.
Self-driving.
Yeah, the
cars.
self-driving vehicles. They've burned hundreds of them, I think, at this point.
So they would order them, and they would arrive, and they just lined them up and burned them all. And they shut down freeways. They went all out, and I'm like,
there's a way. I think it's excessive, but I think people are to the point where they feel this is what they need to do.
This is the only way right now that we're going to get the message to this person that's sitting in this White House that we don't want you.
But even the governor of California was saying at this point we're ready to join Mexico.
Yeah, and so
as a sovereign state and leave the U.S. altogether. Like that's where they're at.
And it's bad.
Yeah. And he was saying, the amount of money that we pump into, the federal government, we don't get back, right? California pumps more money into the federal system than they receive in funds. And, and then he was making the comparisons that, the state of Texas, for example, a lot of the money that California puts into the federal government is given as subsidies to the state of Texas, things like that. And so that war started between the governors of those two states. And then at one point, the governor said, it's good to see peaceful protest and people fighting, this administration for the choices. And
doesn't seem very peaceful at this point.
Not currently, right? But it
does. There always comes a point where you have to just stand up and
fight back.
Yeah,
right. Otherwise, they're going to end up in Gilead. And so at one point he was having an interview, and the interviewer asked him and said, some Joe Schmo in some kind of like authority, like police authority type of position, said that, if the governor or any other, official or state legislator or, mayor want to come down and join this, people will arrest them too. And literally Gavin just looked at the camera and said, arrest me. Go ahead, arrest me. Get it over with, because that's what you want to do. That's the fame you want, right? Mm-hmm. And so just do it. But you're not going to tell me what I can and cannot do in the state that I'm running currently. And, and he was basically just flat out told them.
Yeah. It's like, last week I did find about an hour of time to go down to the New Haven Green, and they were raising the pride flag.
Yeah.
Right.
And to live in a city, to be in a city where the mayor vocally stands up and speaks while we raise the pride flag about the city and that we're here to protect its citizens. Everyone here, deserves due process, all of that stuff. Like just to live in a city where we can raise a fucking pride flag. Just thinking that that is a thing is fucking crazy to me. That we live in a city where it's okay to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are cities now where you cannot do that. And technically we cannot do that. If you want to live by what the fuck the
current administration
is saying.
Yeah.
Right. It's just nuts. I mean, and what you're seeing is, we're in the month of June, so 5.5 months in. What you're seeing people is arriving at their breaking point.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's interesting because, Rachel Maddow herself said that the kind of resistance that you're seeing right now, will probably be what we need for overcoming this administration. I mean, it's only been 5.5 months.
Yep.
And there are still people that believe in him.
And it seems like there is an eternity that has passed between January 21st and today, June 9th.
And let me also say, last week, I got a phone call from my mother.
Oh.
Was it last week? I think it was last week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was. It was Tuesday. I got a phone call from my mother saying, congratulations. I was like, for what? And she was like, marriage equality. It's like the law of the land now. They can't, bring it back to the Supreme Court. I was like, Mom, what are you talking about?
What was she talking about?
The 10th anniversary celebration around the country. There were people celebrating 10 years of marriage equality, which is great.
Okay.
But she thought that was...
No.
And I'm like, Mom, I'm gay. I'm like the gayest of gay.
Like,
and like
the gay.
How did you...
The gayest of your kids.
How did you not know that, one?
It's the only gay kid she has.
And two, like, yes, the Supreme Court, yes,
Yeah.
they can still contest it. Like, 100% it can go back to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? The reason I say that, it's because it's like that moment, I'm like, do you think that this administration made that happen?
No.
Fuck, no, they didn't.
Oh.
The Supreme Court, no.
No.
Like,
we had to let that shit. We had to live
like,
through that shit.
I could see Trumpers being like, well, look what we just did.
Oh, easily, because, they're that gullible.
Well, clearly my mother, who is
Right.
not a dumb woman.
Well, just...
Some people just aren't in the know.
I'm
You
like-
know, it's not what she follows.
You almost
and-
have her there, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go nice. Go
Oh,
nice
I
on.
am being nice. I was just informing her. I'm like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, so, it's easily...
But the reason I bring it up, it's because of the perception, right?
Right.
It's like, do people actually think that, like, this administration did anything in support of
Right.
the LGBTQ plus community?
Nothing. They have done nothing.
No, they plan to completely get rid of 988 during this month
Yeah.
Yeah,
National
the-
Suicide Hotline.
for the
Oh,
LGBTQ
that's right. Yes, yes,
plus.
yes.
Yeah.
This here.
Yeah.
This little bracelet.
Well, and the other thing that I saw also was there was a reporter from Australia reporting during one of the protests, and you can visually see one of the ICE agents target her, and they shot her with a rubber bullet on the leg
On live television.
on live while she was reporting.
Right. It's insane. It's insane.
Like, I can see that you're trying to control crowds, but now you're going after news
Right.
factions.
And it wasn't. It
And
wasn't.
it can happen in LA. It can
We
happen
don't
anywhere.
know.
Yeah.
We don't know if it was an ICE agent. I think it more likely was one of the National Guard.
Yeah, they
people
were
that
dressed
there.
in the black. Yeah.
Right. So, but it's crazy, and
Yeah,
to think
yeah.
that this is happening on American streets right now, to see the demonstrations, the crowd sizes that showed up in DC this weekend in the middle of World Pride,
Yeah.
which is why I have 4 dogs upstairs right now. Well, 2 down here, 2 upstairs, because one of my friends went to World Pride
World
in
Pride.
DC for this week, and there was also a protest at on the National Mall. And the crowd sizes were insane. And you're starting to see people mobilize. Very similar to when, if we go back in history, not too far, right? John McCain was still alive. And the first, we were in the middle of 2017, right before the midterm elections, right? There was a very large effort to overturn Obamacare, right? The Affordable Care Act. And you started to see a lot of people mobilize, city after city after city. It was thousands and thousands of people all at the same time in different cities. And that was the time, that one time McCain walked up into the Senate floor and literally did this and said no. And because of what he did, the Affordable Care Act is still alive today. Right, it's still law, and millions of Americans are still protected under the Affordable Care Act, and they're still trying to overturn it.
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
and so the way they're doing that now is they're going about it by attacking Medicare and removing funds or rescinding funds, or they're trying to, from states, specifically blue states, that are supporting efforts for undocumented individuals. They're targeting, safe havens, harbor cities. What do they call them? Sanctuary cities, harbor cities.
That's probably what Trump calls them.
Probably.
Well, he's calling the protesters in LA insurrectionists.
Yeah.
Oh
And I'm
God.
like,
Are
well,
you
wait a
gonna
minute.
get hard in them too.
The pot calling the kettle black.
Right.
What
So
the
you
fuck?
mobilize the
The Nazis are American patriots. Let's get that right,
So he mobilizes the National Guard on California, specifically LA.
Yep.
But didn't do nothing when
No, he
police
pardoned all the insurrection, all the actual
insurrectionists. No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So
It's insane, but again, this is the world that we're in, and
come on, he went to Qatar on a quote unquote visit to, and instead of doing what they need to do for the country, he went to get a free plane and try to get land so he can build a casino and hotels. He's not out for this country. He's out for self business to see what he can acquire as president.
Right.
So he can set himself up when he's done after the 4
Right.
years.
I mean, he's set up well. I mean,
He's
the man, for as long as he lives, he's gonna have a security detail provided to him by the federal government, and he's gonna have his salary for the rest of his life.
which. Let me stop.
So I hope it's short,
That's what I was gonna say.
because honestly, if I have to,
The American dollar support, and let's talk about his parade.
oh my God! So did
Let's
you hear,
talk about
did you hear
this
about
shit
this?
show.
Yeah, we know about the parade. We talked about it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So it happens to fall on his birthday.
On his birthday, he's throwing himself a parade for his birthday. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And now you have, he pulled funding from actual veterans. He eliminated funding for veteran care. And now he's throwing himself a parade for his birthday to the tune of what? How many million?
It's over $25 million. Right? But wait, here's the kicker. So then he says that the reason why he's doing this parade is not because of his birthday, is because he wants to celebrate
The
military and veterans. And I'm like, but you took $25 million away from funds that would service veterans to throw yourself
a parade.
a military parade to celebrate the birthday.
So Kim Jong-un of him.
Yeah, I know. I can't.
So Castro of him.
But so apparently it's actually. So California is actually suing the Trump administration.
Yes, they filed a
yes.
lawsuit yesterday.
Because it's illegal for
the National Guard to be deployed without them request.
unless we're under martial law, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
However, if a governor does ask for National Guard help, then it does go to federal government control.
Yes.
However, like this situation,
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. And he's doing it because it's a major city. It's a blue state. It's predominantly Latino. There's a very, very large population of Latino people. And also there's a very large number of undocumented individuals living in places like LA, San Diego, and a lot of these massive super cities on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And so for him, that's an optic for his followers and his people. Not to mention his little hate relationship right now with Elon Musk.
I can't even.
Oh, their breakup?
We all knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. The
it's
fact
a
that
matter
it
of time.
happened, the fact that these two broke up on Pride Month, I cannot. Yeah. I was like, yes. But, they're really going at it. So somebody created an AI video, which I watched today. And I'm like, and it's Trump sitting on the Resolute desk, right? Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the Resolute desk, and he's talking about I bought a Tesla to support him before, he agreed to come on board and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to sell it for 16 cents. And I'm signing an executive order right now that will ban Elon Musk from doing business in the United States. He'll be bankrupt in 2 days. And I'm like, this has got to be fake. It's got to be fake.
Yeah, no, the back
I mean,
and
I
fo-
wouldn't be
the back and
surprised.
forth has been going.
That man will never be
apparently.
bankrupt. His companies might go bankrupt, but he will never.
He will
be
never,
bankrupt.
yeah.
No. So
But apparently, with the squabble, Elon supposedly, they said that he.
Why doesn't he just deport the guy?
Well, that's what some of the one of the
That deportation I can get behind.
I think it was one of the Republican senators who suggested deporting Elon
so
in this whole melee and
right, and I think what's going to happen is it's going to get worse before it gets before there's any type of reunion or reconciliation. And Ellen has a very, very useful platform
he does.
for delivering the blow that he needs to someone like Trump or any Republican. And so the silver lining is that midterm elections are coming
Not soon enough.
next year, right? And so you're going to start seeing people now mobilizing, starting to campaign, blah, blah, blah. And I have a funny feeling it won't take long before we flip both the Senate and the House
Oh,
during the midterms, right? And at that point, we may have an opportunity to impeach Trump.
yeah, but here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a very good chance we can flip both the House and the Senate.
Right.
Very good chance. But in order to do that, people actually have to vote. Don't just sit on your laurels saying, "Oh, it's going to happen."
Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because that's what happens.
Absolutely.
And historically, midterm elections do not have the type of turnout that a national presidential election does, right? And
yeah,
so,
but I think this time it will.
well, it have to. We
Because,
saw that
yeah.
kind of mobilization in places like, for example, Georgia during the last midterm election,
Yeah.
where record number of people were
Showing
going
up, yeah.
and showing up to vote, even in the midst of someone trying to suppress that vote,
Yeah.
right? Passing
And
bills
they're
and
still
laws.
trying to do that now.
Right.
So
It's pretty scary to me. It's
Well,
the whole what is it? The whole name change
right.
law they're trying to pass. So basically,
Well, they
if-
passed the law
Yeah.
in Congress,
In Congress.
at the House level. It has not passed the Senate yet.
Yeah.
Where if you get married,
So my wife
Oh,
would
yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
My wife wouldn't be able to vote because she has both my name and her last name and her license,
it's fucking
but
stupid.
her birth certificate has her maiden name.
right?
So she would be considered.
Ladies, don't change your name.
It's basically it is what it is. It's exactly that. It's suppressing female voters. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
Period. And if you look at statistics, what is it? The national statistics are in some states are like 5 females to 1 male.
Right. That will vote.
So
yeah.
count count that out. Per state. What a difference that would make when it comes to voting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
You know what I mean?
it's
It's insane.
interesting to
Well,
see.
also
what's going
too,
on.
like Elon and Trump saying that like Elon fucked with Pennsylvania's
Elections. Yeah.
elections. Well, now he's not there.
He paid out a bunch of money to people and supposedly gave out a couple of checks or 1 or 2 checks for meal. So
Well, we'll see what happens
Yeah.
when we have a large
board
turnout
election is-
and Elon's
yeah.
not there by his side. By
Exactly.
his side,
right.
like
Right. And Elon is not going to be hurting for money at this point. It is what it is. But I'm very encouraged, right? Because during the first term, this is what we started seeing, right?
Yeah.
It's that pushback. And it's not like a simple pushback. I mean, I'm talking about city after city just pushing back, mobilizing, going out there and exercising their right constitutionally to congregate and protest, right?
Yep.
And, what I keep saying is let's keep it peaceful. Sometimes things get out of hand, but these things happen when you have a large group of people that at this point are desperate and frustrated.
Yeah.
You're talking about tariffs that are paralyzing our economy. People can't afford food. You've got Trumpers that voted for him are on TikTok and on.
But you also have people. So he puts out these tariffs, then he takes it back. He puts them out, he takes them back.
Right.
He puts them out.
That's
he
why
takes them
he's
back.
named the nickname Taco.
Let's
Right,
go
but
taco.
The problem with that is people don't know what to expect, so they're raising their prices anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And so,
Trump always chickens out.
right. So you're
Taco.
seeing a lot of price gouging at the moment. And,
Yep.
in a lot of these red states, you're not seeing governors step up to the plate and say, if we catch you, we will fine you as a business if you're price gouging. And none of these tariffs have affected you directly, right? They do a lot of this when you see, for example, hurricanes and storms come through. All of a sudden, gas prices go up like $2, right? That's
Yeah.
illegal.
Yeah.
But
A case of water is $22 when it's normally $4.
right.
You know?
And you see a lot of Democratic governors. I remember when we had Tropical Storm Sandy. It was a hurricane. By the time it hit us, it was a tropical storm. You started seeing shit like that happen. And immediately our governor literally went on camera and said, if we catch you, we will fine you.
Yep.
And potentially take your ability to do business in our state. Right.
And that's the way it should be.
And that's the way it should be. But states like California, Ron DeSantis, he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care.
He's
and
a stoolie. He's a Trump
Texas,
stoolie.
Governor Abbott, he doesn't care.
Trump stoolie.
And then, I'm just flabbergasted. But during his first term, what I feel encouraged about is the fact that this kind of pushback at this massive level, at this capacity of people just flooding streets and cities and exercising their right to protest is what we started seeing right before they attempted to remove the Affordable Care Act, among some of the other things that we were protesting too, in his first term. And we successfully impeached this man twice in the House. Unfortunately, he wasn't convicted in the Senate, but it led to his full impeachment in the House. And I believe that if this happens again, like I said, we were talking before, if we flip the House, that there is a potential that he will get impeached again. Because a lot of the activity that this man is doing is very nefarious, right? It's very self-serving. This whole plane thing with Qatar.
He's eliminated so many federal government agencies.
He's monetizing his pregnancy.
Presidency.
God, no more spawns from him, okay? He doesn't need any more spawns.
No, hey, it is what it is at this point with him, but it's about his business at the end of the day.
Right.
Like we were saying before, Qatar. He went out there for a meeting, and what happened? There was no diplomatic meetings out there. Right. It was business. It was business. Hey, how can I get my casinos and hotels running over here?
Right.
And hey, can I get a jet because, whatever company it is that's supposed to be making our plane is taking too long.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And who accepts a fucking plane from a foreign state? That's smart.
Hey,
Trump
it
does.
wasn't a gift. It wasn't a gift. It was a request. He demanded that.
I just find it fucking crazy that this man is aligning himself with our enemies and not our allies, and all of his constituents are still behind him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and
stay tuned next week. He'll be sponsoring vodka.
I learned a fun fact about vodka yesterday. That the company Smirnoff.
Yeah, they're not Russian.
It's a distillery. Actually, the formula is. So they bought the rights in the formula to distill the vodka, and it's from right here in Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not Russian.
It's a Connecticut company, Smirnoff. And when they first came out, it was all about whiskey and all the dark liquors in the U.S., in the midst of prohibition and things like that. And they couldn't sell the goddamn thing because it was clear. It had no flavor. It tasted like nothing. And then they ended up getting this guy who was a publicist. Not a publicist. I'm using the wrong word. He was a marketing person. Who started, this whole campaign about taking this liquor, which is cheaper and better than your typical, dark liquors that we were used to here, like the whiskeys and things like that. And you can mix these with juices and this, and started making cocktails. He was actually the creator of the Moscow Mule. And I was watching this on the History Channel. I'm like, Connecticut did that? Like, really? Somebody in Connecticut? Wow. But yeah,
Hey,
Smirnoff is a Connecticut vodka.
That's
As-
such a random fact.
hey.
Well, he
it's-
mentioned vodka, and
yeah,
it just
it just clicked.
yeah.
See, it's like pizza for me.
Yeah.
New York, it's
Ooh, I
the
want
pizza
pizza
capital,
now.
right?
Me too.
New York is the pizza capital, and all of a sudden, Connecticut is named.
Well, obviously,
Well, hello.
New
Hello.
Haven.
Yeah. The farther you get away from New Haven, the shittier the pizza.
The shit.
It's funny because the Kappa, so our constituents in Columbus, we have our sister company in Columbus. They came out for Gala this year. So
Right.
the board chair out there, his wife, my boss's boss, and his wife, and technically the woman that would be my boss out there came out for Gala. And it was like 3 something, and I was like, "Where are they? Like, they should have been here at like 1." And they get there, and I was like, "Are you like what happened?" And they're like, "Oh, the board chair has never had New Haven pizza. We had to go
And wait in that line for 2 hours.
No, they went to Modern, and he was like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
okay.
Oh, Modern. Okay.
I get it. I get New Haven pizza now."
Yeah. Modern is
Yeah,
decent.
you don't
It's
have
good
a
pizza.
long wait at Modern.
Yeah.
Like Pepe's. Pepe's, you're up.
Oh, Pepe's and
You have a
Sally's,
different
man.
experience though, because they're coming from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying, if they would have gone to Pepe's, they would have waited.
Oh yeah.
They would have waited.
Outside.
See, I had the end. My old boss, Lisa, her
Yes.
brother-in-law was the manager at Pepe's. So whenever we would decide to go to Pepe's and eat lunch, she would call ahead, and we would walk in ahead of a line of people.
Oh,
Which
you were
was
on the
awesome.
list. You
Yeah, we were on the list.
Oh, okay.
So we had the hookup for a few years.
Right.
So it was great because Pepe's, you had to go with plenty of time. You couldn't go with a half hour, an hour lunch break.
We used to live right across the street from Sally's.
Yeah.
Jay and I.
Yeah.
Jay lived in one brownstone. I lived in the
The
other. Oh
other.
my God. It was just like the best. You get
Yeah.
out of work, just order a pie and
Yeah. Go home and pig out.
yeah, pretty much it. All right. Well, listen, we don't want to end this show on a horrible, story about that horrible man. But I want to talk a little bit about the Tonys.
okay.
Because I know this is, you're coming off, you're high off a gala. Then the Tonys happened on the same weekend. Your husband didn't win.
I know.
Yeah, I know. So what were your thoughts on the Tonys?
I thought they were great, with the exception of the fact that Darren Criss won. Even though he probably deserves it. I haven't seen the show yet. I'm gonna go see it.
I think this is the 4th cast member from Glee that has won a Tony.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, they're fabulous. They're
Yeah.
great.
But yeah, no, I thought it was good. I thought the opening act was good. It wasn't like Neil Patrick Harris good, but it was good.
She was fabulous.
Yeah, she was good. And
That's
I thought
Alphaba, bitch. Don't fuck with
I
her.
think
She'll
Cynthia,
Monica.
no, Cynthia did an okay job. But she's no Neil Patrick Harris.
She gave
She did
Opera
a
a call.
fabulous job.
She did a phenomenal job. But she's no Neil Patrick Harris.
That's okay.
No, yeah.
Uh,
well,
she did good.
Doogie Howser's,
I thought all the
childhood crush.
yeah, I thought all the wins were very. I thought it was like
Who's the guy that spits all over?
Jonathan
Jonathan Goss, right?
Groff.
Groff.
That's my boyfriend.
Jonathan Groff is your soon-to-be husband. So she's up in the balcony, and she goes like, "I'm in the balcony. I saw this. I laughed so hard." She goes like, "And for someone who's 5'2", this is the best place to be when you're watching a show. Plus, if you're watching a Jonathan Groff show, it is the safest place to be because
Watch out, he spits.
he likes to spit all over people, and so being up here.
You're
I
safe
appreciate
from
that.
you're
She said
from the
something
splat
along.
zone.
She said something along the lines of like, he likes to get people wet.
Yeah, yeah.
It was fucking. I found it hilarious. I was like, oh, this girl's got some comedy chops in her.
But all of the performances were great. I really loved. I think it was 10 years for Hamilton.
Yes, the
Yeah.
10-year anniversary
Yeah,
celebration.
they're
The original cast came
Yeah,
out.
it was
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah.
It was really good.
To see Lin-Manuel Miranda up there.
Yeah, and
doing his
Jonathan
thing.
Groff came out too. He did his.
Especially during just around the corner from Puerto Rican Parade in New York City. It's a big to do.
It was
It's
a
a big
big
to-do.
weekend.
So my boss was there.
Really?
Yeah, he goes to the
Nice.
Tonys.
Good for her.
He got.
I mean,
he
good
got.
for
He
him.
got a TV. He got a TV moment. You could just see him like trying to get in the photo. I mean, in the screen. But I was texting him, and I was like, we were coming up on Best Actor in a Musical, and I said, because he's a Tony voter. I was like, if he doesn't win, I quit.
Well, his one vote is really not going to make the difference. But
There's not that many Tony voters. Think about it.
What did you
there
think
are a
of?
significant amount, but it's like in the hundreds. It's not
What
like.
do you think of the Jonathan Groff straddling Keanu Reeves?
Oh my
during his
God! So
performance?
he just
I was
again.
I saw a
Can
short
I
clip of
Can I
it.
be in that seat?
Everybody that was in front or
Yeah.
behind Keanu
Yeah,
was wet.
It was wet.
Keanu was like.
And Keanu was like in between his legs, like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this man's balls is in my face.
Let me tell you, my wife.
Trish would have been
yeah,
in heaven.
My wife loves Keanu Reeves, and I think that's not a whole pass for her. That's a whole pass for me. That he is. He's old. He's an older man.
Oh, I don't see it
I've
anymore.
always thought he's been a handsome fucking guy.
Not
So
only
we
is
did
he handsome, he's also an amazing human
Yeah,
being.
yeah, he is.
We
He
did
is.
a meet and greet with Skylar, the guy that did Gala.
Yeah.
And I was like the last person. I'm generally the last person that gets the photo with him.
Wait, isn't he from Greece? From Glee as well?
I don't know if he was in Glee. He was in Pitch Perfect.
Okay,
Pitch
yes,
Perfect,
that's
yes.
where I know him from. Yes.
So,
yes.
anyway, so we're just like, shooting the shit and chatting. He's a very nice guy. And he said something about something. Oh, I said something about Gala. And he's like, well, who do you want for next year? I bet it's probably, Darren Chris? I was like, are you kidding me? I want Jonathan. And he goes, oh, honey, everybody wants Jonathan. I was like, no, I really want Jonathan. And he's like, well, I made out with him for like years and years and years, or not years and years, for a year or so. When he was in the show Spring Awakening, they were in the show together, and they had a scene where they made out. And he was like, and just so you know, everything you would expect, it was just that and more. And I was like,
shit.
I am so jealous. And he just started laughing. And then I take a business card out of my pocket. And I was like, here, take this. I saw him last week or a couple weeks ago, and I met him. Forgot to give him this. If he needs a date for the Tonys, have him call me. He started laughing. He didn't take my business card.
Well, it's too late.
So
You tried. You
Yeah.
tried.
I did.
Hey,
I
you
took
shot your shot.
Exactly.
So there were two very beautiful moments. Obviously, for me, the opening number, Cynthia singing, it was insane. To have the choir behind her and everyone, and then she walking around people. She's walking around the theater, and she's putting a mic in your face.
It made people sing, yeah.
And you better sing. So I think she went to Kristen Chenoweth. She went to.
I don't remember.
I thought that was Jonathan that she went to.
I don't think so.
I thought it was.
I think you're wrong.
Okay.
I don't
And
know. I
then
didn't
she
watch.
went to oh my God, what's his name? Adam Lambert, and he did his thing. That was cute. And then someone else, and I can't remember who it was, and they were just like, nope, that's not happening. And then she goes like, whatever, I'm leaving. So I thought that was cute. And then right through the in memoriam.
Mm-hmm. That was beautiful.
They did a rendition of Tomorrow, right, from Annie. And it was her and Sarah Bareilles.
They were great.
They were amazing together. Their harmonies were great, and oh my God, you could feel the emotion as they're singing. And
Well,
you're
and
seeing,
Sarah had a really deep relationship with Gavin Creel.
which was the last person they showed
Yeah.
on screen. And so right when the song ends, you can see her, like, it's dark, but you can see she's hugging Cynthia Erivo, and she breaks down crying. Like, it's insane.
awesome.
But it was such a touching moment to see that. And then, of course, Harvey Firestein, not Weinstein, Firestein. Let's not confuse the two. Got a Lifetime Achievement Award, Tony. And the man has been in the business for decades.
A long time.
Very long time. There was a clip where he was obviously brought on stage in recognition for his Lifetime Achievement, and he said something at the end. I have the recording, but the recording is like 2.5 minutes long of his speech.
So skip to the end.
And hopefully we can. But he said something at the end that just left me stunned.
Yeah, I cried.
Let me see if we can make this work, because
She's an intern.
technical difficulties. Let's see. Will it let me?
So suddenly, I found myself on the Broadway with Tortsong
I will
Trilogy.
listen to it.
It was only then that I
I
was
love him.
cautioned. if you want a career, keep your personal life to yourself. My answer was, have you seen Torch Song Trilogy? It was 1982, and not only did I arrive on Broadway, but so did AIDS. This was no time to hide. We needed to go to war, and it was a war that cost us much too dearly. I might never really understand how I survived those years, or the years that led me to be standing on this stage accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award. But what I find most humbling is the thought that somehow my journey means something to you.
And here comes the waterworks.
There's no way to really thank even a tiny percentage of the people responsible. No one does theater alone. But I must call out my mother, who dragged us to opera and ballet and Broadway as often as she could afford, and my brother, who's sitting over there, who used my shows as a personality test for his dates. If they freaked out seeing his drag queen brother, they were history. But I'd like to leave you with this thought. As many of you know, there is nothing quite like bathing in the applause of a curtain call. But when I bow to the audience with gratitude, knowing that without them, I might as well be lip-syncing show tunes in my bedroom mirror.
Yeah, Trish.
Well, that's what you
And
do,
so,
Coach.
I dedicate this award to the people in the dark and offer my most profound thanks to all of you, my community.
I dedicate this award to the people in the dark. That line
awesome.
to me is, there's so much. That was a loaded line. That was it. That little line.
Yeah.
I dedicate this award to the people in the dark. Because that could mean so many things. It could mean, for example, the people that work behind the scenes to, bring you a show, an amazing show, day after day, 7 days a week, 8, 9 performances. It's insane, right?
Yeah.
But, he was also talking about, the HIV/AIDS pandemic in the early 80s and how you're losing people left and right. And so, the people in the dark, right?
Yeah, and oddly enough, I was reading an article today. Since this new administration took hold of funding and eliminated funding in HIV care, there has been over 30,000 HIV deaths since our new mogul has been in charge.
Right. And it's
Because of
it's
loss of funding.
Right.
And I think that speaks volumes as to what we're facing right now.
Right.
Yeah.
30, it's a huge number, and not to mention the amount of children we have lost
Right.
Yeah.
to HIV because of loss of funding based on our current administration. An administration that claims to be Christian and to be wanting to be for America.
Right.
And yet the loss of life is incalculable.
Yeah. There's
There
nothing.
shouldn't be any loss.
There's nothing Christian about that, man.
No, that's no Christian.
You know.
Yeah.
So, when he says, I dedicate this,
Amazing.
to the people in the dark.
Awesome actor.
That line to me
Great
it's got to
person.
be one of the most bone-chilling lines that anyone has ever said during an acceptance speech, and well deserved. So
Well,
congratulations.
It's
to
got
him.
it's got multiple meanings between the patrons, between all the people backstage. There's multiple meanings behind
Oh
what he's
yeah,
trying to say.
absolutely.
But also he's referring to our community, right?
Right.
In a way. But also some other quick highlights about LGBTQ representation at the Tonys.
Yeah.
So Michael Arden, the director of Maybe Happy Ending, won, and at the end, if you watch his speech, it's really great because at the end he says something, and I can't remember exactly what he says, but then he ends with Happy Pride.
Right.
And he was the first person to say that, especially given the the climate. He's like, for all those people who aren't saying it, I'm going to say it, kind of a thing. And then Cole Escola, who won Best Performance by an actor in a leading role in the play O Mary, thanked Grindr in their acceptance speech. Escola is non-binary who
Right.
uses they, them.
Right. I believe they were the first individual.
They were the first non-binary person to win a Tony.
She shouted out
in
Tebow from Grindr.
They.
Yeah, they. I'm sorry. Yeah.
in a male-designated category. Jack Malone, a British actor in Operation Mincemeat, celebrated trans rights in his current speech, acceptance speech, stating that by believing in his gender-fluid character, audiences might have left behind cynicism and outdated ideas about binary gender. So the Tonys really did celebrate Pride this year.
Yeah, they did. There's a lot going on, for Pride this year. The Tonys, these protests, Pride, World Pride happening in D.C. Like, I feel like the organizers of World Pride, because I mean, some of these things are decided years in advance, but I think that the timing, you can't help but to look at the fact that World Pride happened in DC at this moment, at this time. It is one of the biggest protests that you've seen from the community, going out there and celebrating and just throwing it in your face and saying, deal with it. Fuck off.
We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
All right. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but I'm going to toss it over.
They're used to it.
Yeah, I know. To you. You're back. I did your Mama Kim's Minute last week.
Must have been a hot mess.
I was horrible.
It was horrible. We loved it.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right, everybody. Here's Mama Kim's Minute. Number 1, the picture at Pride with his parents means the world to him. Number 2, Puerto Rican Supreme Court allows X-gender markers on birth certificates. Number 3, Happy Pride. Nick Offerman called a homophobic loser a dump on X.
Caught you.
I just did.
I caught you. Puffing the vape, and the freaking thing is going to go off. Anyway,
We need
Jay
to start
Bird.
turning that thing off. Oh, I haven't. This day in gay history, we did last week.
Oh, on this day in gay history, what happened?
Let's see. 1983 was the year where Italy. Let's see. I didn't pre-read this, so let's see if I don't fuck this up.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. Italian film director Franco Sefirelli comes out in an interview with The Advocate saying, I'm gay. This is the first time I've talked about it openly. I don't like to talk about my sexual inclinations. People are not special because they like one thing better than another in bed.
While I agree coming out was amazing, I disagree that people aren't more special for being gay, because God knows we are.
We're fabulous. Hello.
Hello.
And
All
bi
right.
too.
Who was it? I was having a conversation with somebody, and I said, who wouldn't want a gay person to move into their neighborhood? Your property value goes up like instantly,
Yeah.
because we're fabulous.
Not me.
And your husbands have a place to go hang out.
Yeah. Anyway,
Moving on to our announcements.
Nicholas. Oh no, well.
No.
Jay.
Girl. She's jumping ahead of schedule. If you love the show, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review in your favorite podcasting service. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite podcast, right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as the episode is published. You can also support us on Patreon. With Patreon, you, our lovely listeners, can help to support the show with a pledged donation. The donations are collected monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more. Trish?
Thank you. All right, everybody, get the Future Method and all other products today. All products are doctor developed, can clean out without hurting your bum, take confidence anywhere with the anal powder packs, increase your stretch goals with the 3-piece glass dilation kit, and get all of the information you need with Dr. G's book, But Seriously. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum accessories today.
All righty. I did that last week. It was fun.
I'm going to tell you in a minute. before you go there, so
Before I go there.
so
Before we
we
put
get
a
a lot
ring
of
on it.
a lot of text messages from like these
Yes.
rando numbers.
Yes.
And it pisses me off because it's like, hi, it's so and so. I'm like, who the fuck are you? I don't know you.
Are you free for golfing this weekend?
I'm like, I don't even know you. So I created this this thing.
Profile?
No, this
Oh, okay.
so and I have it in my notes. So this is my automatic reply every time I get like a spam message. So I'm gonna put it on your camera. So it literally, I created it and it says stop repeating, stop, like really long, like super long. So now they have to read all this shit just to get to the end.
It's a bot. They don't read it.
Yeah, but
And I said,
it
stop
just-
fucking contacting me at the end. And that's what I do.
That's how you play with them.
Yeah, and then I annoy them.
Can I talk to you about a job opportunity?
Yeah. I'm sorry, you contacted AT&T. Please call back later. Bye-bye. Anyway,
Moving on and putting a ring on it. Ready? Okay.
are you waiting for music or something?
Our show is available on our website.
I was about to actually push her button.
GayTalk2.0 under audio podcast. It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, and now on Spotify.
Yes,
All
queen.
right. You can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0. You can email us at GayTalk 2.0 at GayTalk20.com, and I swear I'm going to get back to you now that Gala's over.
All right, ladies and gents, if you need to reach out to us, just head on over, to our website. Click on the Contact Us tab, which is located at the top of the web browser. There you can leave comments, suggest topics, submit a question for the cast or an individual host. You can also give us a ring. Our phone number is 334-GAY-TALK. And if you need all of those digits, it is 334-429-8255. Don't forget, we are streaming live now on Mondays. And you can access the live stream if you're a Patreon supporter for the video the day of. Everyone else gets to the following week, and our audio version is always available as soon as this episode is published, and it's free for everyone. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for tuning in on to today's episode. That is our show, and y'all have a good night. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.